Hi, I'm Jonathan Pines with Rupert Neve Designs, and I'm here on the floor of the 2016 NAMM show with Produce Like a Pro, the maven, the man behind it all, Warren Hewitt.
Wow, that was great. Can you do all of mine?
Yeah.
I think it'd be great.
We'll switch off. You can do me, I'll introduce you.
So apparently I'm Warren, and I hope you're doing marvelously well. Jonathan, how are you? Good to see you, mate.
Marvelous. We haven't seen each other since AES, I believe. So great to be here.
That was a fun time.
I really appreciated your time and being able to interview you and get a peek behind what you do in your process. And great stuff from him.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. Jonathan, as we know, Rupert Neve Designs, we all love saying that name, we like to say it a lot. It's a constant in everything, as far as music's concerned. Has this beautiful product here.
Okay,
can you tell us about it?
What's cool about this is it's the first DI that Rupert has ever done. Active DI, transformer-based, Class A, all the high voltage, all the hallmarks of what Rupert does. So it'll take plus 21.5 dB on the input side, no pad. So you can run the output of an Apollo or a Zen or whatever your interface is straight into it and reamp or remic something if you want. In the speaker mode, switch it up. You can switch it up to speaker mode. It'll take 1,000 watts. So
really?
You can put it in the loop with your SVT, with your Eden 800, big Marshall rig. You get the sound of this tube soaking, you get the output transformer, you get what's going on in the effects loop, you can get the sound of everything. It doesn't have speaker emulation in it, but it's a simple EQ curve to set it with that, and you get the full sound of your rig. So we have a lot of people who'll mic their instrument and then mic their amp and use that as a blend, as well as DIing their amp.
And just presumably using it as a guitar DI.
Yes.
That's an amazing sounding guitar DI.
Straight guitar DI, straight bass line. Great things about this, exceptional phase linearity at low frequencies. So flat from 2 hertz to over 100K. Very phase linear, but enormously heavy harmonics. Big weight, big sound. So classic Rupert Neve, texture, sound, very transient, very punchy DI. Phantom powered, so no external batteries, no external power supply, easy to use, ground switch, built like a tank, shipping now. We have these all over the world on stage in the studio. People love it, they'll buy one, they get back to us, and we need 4 more. We're replacing everything on our stage with these.
Do you know what the best thing about this? What's the best thing about this?
The best thing about this is it's $269. That's a great price.
It's a great price, and you can win one.
Well, the best thing about this one right here is that someone out there, Warren's made it possible, this is gonna be theirs.
Great.
Tell us how this works.
It's easy. All you have to do is go to Produce Like a Pro and sign up for the email list. It's a raffle, and so we give you little fun things to do. You go and like the page, the Facebook page. You go to the Twitter, like the Twitter. What else do you have? You guys have Instagram?
We have Instagram as well.
You have Instagram. So basically we'll have a list of like 5 or 6 things you can do. And every time you do one of those things, you win more raffle tickets, you get more entries. So go to the email list, producelikeapro.com, sign up, and you'll have a chance to win this lovely, what is it called?
The Rupert Neve Designs DI, also known as the RNDI.
RNDI, I can remember that. Marvelous. Thank you ever so much. There it is, RNDI.
We've got some cool stuff. We have an 8-channel 5088 loaded up with Shelfords, lots of cool modules, great vintage sound, automation, nice little producer desk over here. It's the first time we're showing it in this particular configuration, and we really want to be able to share it with our friends at Produce Like a Pro. Warren's been a great supporter. We think you guys do a great thing. We look forward to working more with you guys and showing you the things we're doing this year. Great thing about this, super high voltage console, tons of level. You soak the bus like you would any classic console, never gives up, just glues more and more and more.
Very flexible. I'm a big, interrupting Jonathan here, I'm a big front end guy. People talk about summing and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great. I mean, summing's a great idea if you've recorded super thin off your little 2-input interface, which a lot of us do. And yeah, having a summing amp can really help. But to me, if I was gonna drop $1,000 or $2 on anything, it would be on a really, really nice mic pre. Obviously, console's better.
Oddly enough, we have some really nice mic preamps here. So this is really Rupert's first time that he wanted to pivot back to the past. For much of the time in Rupert Neve Designs, he wanted to move forward, push the state of the art, come to new things, bring new things out about our products. But we had a lot of demand from our customers who wanted an update of his classics from the past. So what we have here, very high voltage preamp. Classic Neve works on plus 24 volts. These work on plus 24 and minus 24. So 48 volt voltage swing. tons of headroom, very vintage sound, all the stuff that you've come to expect with his classic sound, and an updated EQ. So what do we want in the EQ? The low end of a 1066, actually a 1064 in this case, sorry. The low end of a 1064, the mid-range of a 1073, and then something with a little bit more open sound on the top. So you have an inductor EQ. Why is an inductor cool? What's an inductor? It's half a transformer. It's a transformer without anything in the center, no core material. But it has that vintage sound. And so we combined sort of the best things of it. We added silk red and silk blue for, again, more texture, more of that vintage feel. So it'll go from super clean to way on the vibey side. And I think that's important. We've talked about this before, that we feel that as artists, you want to have control. You're like a painter. Some days you want black and white, some days you want alizarin and crimson, but you don't want the same palette every day. You want to be able to have a choice, you want to be in control of what you do, and you want to be able to change your sound. And a lot of people starting out can't afford to have 20 things like you have. I mean, you have an amazing collection of toys, but a lot of the people on Produce Like a Pro can't afford that. But what they can do is get something that allows them to go from all the way clean to super textured or anywhere in between.
Yeah, for me, it's like, just to reiterate what we're just talking about there, you got one really nice mic pre like this, and you can change and color the sound. We're talking about, I don't know, 48 channels of recording. You've got 48 instances of transformers. To me, that's a much better investment, just personally speaking, than buying a summing amp which has a pair of transformers in it. I mean, you know, I talked about this with Andrew Schetz when we were at AES last year. He said exactly the same thing.
Andrew has had a big pivot for himself.
Yeah, he's mixing entirely in the box. He's not hitting any transformers or anything on the way out or mixers anymore because he's blessed. He gets wonderful, well-recorded stuff with nice mics and, most importantly, nice mic pre's.
Well-recorded.
So, yeah, and I think that, and we were talking to Brad a couple of weeks ago, Brad Wood, and he's a big fan, and that's one of his things. He really does use this control.
He's a huge fan of these, and I think that it's...
and I really love his work.
When you're starting out, also, I think, and I really agree with you, is that one of the best things you can do is get 2 good channels of everything. Yeah. Get 2 good mic preamps, get 2 EQs, get 2 good compressors, and start building your collection. But if you start with that, and you're working by yourself, most of the time you're going to be going through those things, and you can't afford a large console, but you can afford that everything you're recording is at least the important things are going through that, and that gets you in a much better place. You make much better recordings. I mean, we've talked about this before. A lot of people have a fear of commitment in this industry, and you have one chance to go through that on the front end. And if you commit to the right thing, you learn how to use your tools, you learn how to make records, you learn how to make records that sound good from the beginning, mixing is a lot easier.
I agree.
It's so much easier if you've made choices.
Yeah. Oh yes, everybody talks about it. Chris CLA, Chris Oraugi was talking about this, how he's now getting 175,000 tracks, and nothing, it's like, there's 18 guitars playing the same part.
What's the good guitar pack? What's the one you actually meant to use? Or what are the 2, or what are the 4? And it's very hard to mix a record when you've not made any decisions about the way the drums sound, the way the bass sounds, the way they sit with the keyboards, the way they sit with the vocals, or is there a pocket for the vocal? If you don't make those decisions, you don't know until you mix what you have for a record. And I think that's a big problem today, is a fear of commitment.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people feeding into it. To be honest, there's a lot of people selling products that I personally, and I'm sure you as well, feel are unnecessary, and they're just selling stuff and they're trying, and I get it, everybody's trying to run a business, but for me, front end is really important. And if we get a kid with even just a 57 pre, a wonderful pre like that, a 57, they're going to be making a much better record than buying the other 5,000 things they could buy.
Well, we've talked about this for drum recording. You see a lot of people who have a 4-channel interface, and they say, I can't do drums because I don't have 8 mics. They go out and buy 8 crappy mics. They buy a drum pack of some sort. They don't know how to place them. They don't know how to use them. They'd be much better off doing a Glenn Johns thing. 2 well-placed mic, add a kick drum, a snare drum mic. They actually can record drums. They need people like Produce Like a Pro to show them how to do it.
Well, that's the whole aesthetic. We're just going to, I want everybody to be really good because this is fun. You didn't get into music when you started engineering, producing, and playing music. It wasn't because this seems like a good career move. I mean, you do it because we love it.
No, I was lucky enough that it was an okay career move now. Yeah. But I got into it because I love music. And I wasn't as good a guitar player as him or anywhere close. So I had to get into the engineering side. I had to have something I could do. And I desperately wanted to be in the music industry. It was the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Make money doing what we love.
but we have fun.
Yeah.
That's important.
All right, thanks, mate.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.